Welcome back to the AB Scale Project. I'm Krager. This is Alpha Bravo, and today we're starting off with the Studio Series Windcharger, which he's a little hard to see because he's got this nice little magnetic blast effect that can attach to his front. There we go. There is the full effect there, and you can take his blast effect and attach it back here for storage. So that's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and get into it here. And I think he looks cool. I mean, I love the face sculpt, the whole body. I mean, that looks like it came straight out of the animation. Articulation wise, this is on a mushroom peg, so to make him look up, they actually put a lever on the back of his head so that he could look up, look down, or kind of find a happy medium. So pretty cool. Ball joints on the shoulders. You know, he's got universal joint at the elbow. Wrist swivel, if you can get this ball joint to move, it's pretty tough because it's mainly used for transformation. But technically, you stick something in there, rotate it, you can get a wrist rotation. Has a waist, legs, can do whatever you want your legs to do. Extreme calf tilt. Yeah, that's the only ankle tilt is right there with the calf tilt. Now the knee is a bit tricky because if you just try to pull it from out here, you'll wind up bending this joint, which isn't supposed to be the knee joint. The knee joint is here. You kind of have to apply pressure here to get it to bend, and then that's about all the knee bend that you get. So you can get kind of a running pose if you want to, but yeah. So you got to take four fingers worth of pressure to get that knee to work. And we already talked about the extreme calf bend. But otherwise, it looks great. He has kind of a oil grease gun. So pretty neat. Overall, I like the look. We'll take that off for just a second here, just so you can see where they made the faux back, kind of like in the animation model, to where it's the faux car back. So it looked more cleaned up. You know, the false windshield there. But overall, this looks really good. I love the way it looks. It's really clean. The only hollowness you have to go looking for. Yeah, this is really good. I mean, like I said, to find the hollowness, you actually have to go looking for it. Otherwise, put him on the shelf. He looks great. I mean, to me, I'm already throwing around my head mini masterpiece because this just looks good. All right, let's do some comparisons. Start off with the G1. Yeah, I pulled a lot of these out just because, you know, Windcharger, I'm probably not going to touch Windcharger again, so we're doing retouch here. G1 looks good. Our current IDW winner, which is the Reveal the Shield. Very different looks, and actually the new one's actually taller than the Reveal the Shield. We have the T30, which was actually supposed to be the Matumti tailgate look, and was just turned into Windcharger because they're always bold mates. And still very monkey proportions on him. I mean, his hands are almost to his knees. But anyway. And our current G1 winner, the Titan's Return. And you can see by the robot mode, there's a huge jump there. But yeah. Overall, I really like this guy. I think he looks great. Alright, let's check out his vehicle mode. And here we have Windcharger in his car mode. It looks really good. Spin them around there. Let's get a look at it. Rolls really well. See, can store his little electromagnetic storm effect on the front, and his gun will tab in underneath the wheel there. That doesn't impede the rolling at all. So that's really cool. I'll go ahead and take that off so you can go ahead and see the grill on that. Pretty good. And the reason why he looks kind of like a muscle type Firebird is because the original G1 did. So that's pretty cool. And the rim outs, they like emphasized everything that was in the G1. They put in the demarked the top here so you can fill it in with the black spots, like if you want to go full G1, or we might get a Walmart reissue that has the full G1 paint. But yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Alright, we'll just go ahead and quick march through the evolution. So you got this one that looks more like a Camaro than a Firebird. I know toward the end of the 80s they kind of looked the same, but you know what I mean. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move that off here. And again, lay it out on the bottom the same. But yeah, pretty neat. Bring in the T30, which was a stylized sports car. Flip them underneath. Still looking pretty close to the same. The legs tucked up underneath here instead of becoming the back, but it's a little bit of variation there. And finally, the Titans Return. You can see where they went with that. And still very familiar underneath there. Yeah. You know, he wasn't a huge part of G1, but he was just a really fun character to play with. And of course, you know, the original G1 was pretty much the standard GoBot transformation. So it was one that everybody had, everybody could transform, and he was just a pretty neat little car. So this new version, I think, is really good. Looks great, colors great. I mean, not some tab-in problems. And yes, this little step here is intentional, because sometimes when your old one would, over time, these wouldn't tab in correctly, and those would cause that step, but that step was intentional. So, yeah. And it kind of looks like, you know, Inspector Gadget. So, yeah, because you can't really compress it down any further. Anyway, I like it. I think it works great. G1 homage all the way. I mean, I don't think they could have done that better. All right, let's make our final decision. So, is this our new IDW G1 Windcharger? And we'll go ahead and do a throwback to some of the early videos on the channel and say G1's out for appearance and articulation. T30's out because this was supposed to be Matumti tailgate. Alright, now as far as G1, yeah, definitely it wins G1 over the Titan's Return leaps and bounds. Because while the vehicle mode for the Titan Return looks great, robot mode looks like an afterthought. So, it's gone. It is our new G1. As far as IDW, because IDW was started in 2005, they used the Reveal the Shield mold as what was in there. And the Reveal the Shield mold actually holds up really well to current articulation standards. I mean, the only thing he doesn't have is wrist swivel and waist, because he actually does have ankle tilt. So that was pretty advanced for the time. It's a ball joint back there, so he can kind of twist it any way he wants to. But he can actually, you know, hang with the current articulation, with all the articulation that was built into the original figure. So he will still remain the IDW winner. So IDW is the Reveal the Shield. G1 is the new Studio Series. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. All right, let's go on to the next one. And finally for today, we got Amalgamous Prime, and he looks very monstrous there. And of course, Amalgamous was supposed to be the ever shape-shifting Prime with his shape-shifting scythe. And, you know, that's pretty much all it does. It turns into a kind of spear. He comes with the little gun here, his scythe, and he was supposed to come with a clear spear tip. But what mine came with was in see if we focus on that. I got an extra unpainted transformation cog. So we'll just stick that up there for now instead of my spear tip. Because for his power, and of course he's a weaponizer too, his little power item was the transformer cog that comes in, that you store in the back of his head. It fills in the hole in his shockwave face. So, yeah. So I wound up with 2 transformation cogs instead of a spear tip. So, yeah. So looking at him, and you can either have the shockwave head, or you can take that off and have an all real monsters face. You know, it's a trade-off. Yeah, you can tell somebody had fun with this in the design phase. Articulation-wise, head does that. He can go up and down there, a little bit in the middle. His arms You go up and down, rotate on that peg, you know. And he is a weaponizer, so these actually come off. You know, all the limbs come off. These things come off. Head comes off, as you just saw. Legs, universal at the hips. Pivot there, because that's the peg. A little bit of crunch for transformation on the thighs there. And I've actually got the legs on the wrong side. So let's go ahead and put those on the right side. I've been playing around with him a bit, as you can tell. All right, now he has the correct ankle tilt, and he does have extreme ankle tilt. So yeah. We're going to pose, put his head back on. So yeah. Very finicky, because a lot of these pegs are really short. So, yeah. Come on, stand. Okay, he's standing. Alright. Move him over here. We'll bring in Earthrise Prime, just so you get a size compare. So he's a bit smaller. Most of the plastic in the price point is in the extra limbs. And then that big bulky body that he has there, that upper torso, which none of that really comes apart, so it winds up just being a big chunk. And because these are all holes instead of pegs, you can't really use them with the combat system, so you have to basically come back and use it just to rearrange on him, because he is all pegs and no holes. I mean, he doesn't even have the combat system on the bottom of his feet. So, some weaknesses, but overall, it's Amalgamous, and since he's constantly changing, who are we to say if it's correct or not? You know? Yeah. So, not really much more to say about it. I mean, he's got tons of joints. I mean, anything you can want. He's got wrist swivels, because you can put these arms anywhere, and that head keeps popping off. And the wrists can also turn inward, like that, and they can all do that on the weird pinning scheme there. But anyway, let's talk about alt modes. And here we have Amalgamous in his official mode as a four-legged mech. Now, because I didn't get the proper spear tip, I got the clear matrix or clear transformation cog. I just shoved it in the top here. But you see here's where the scythe and his gun stick together to make that little turret. Little bit of movement on the turret, not a lot, and the peg, you get stuck because you ran the whole scythe through there. But again, he is a weaponizer, so you can just kind of pick him apart and do different things with him. With these arms, you can flip out these wings, stick one of these in there, and you have a grabby probe. Of course, even then, these will actually go together themselves to make a plane. So yeah, and then these guys are more of a car thing. So you can plug that in. Let's flip these around to where it actually roll. And you know, you got a grabby car with 4 wheels in line, which might be difficult to actually work. The way they're actually supposed to go in the instructions is you flip up the elbows like that and stick them together, and there's the car mode. Let's see, is there a way that there we go. We'll just do that. There, that way they can somewhat roll. But yeah, the hands thing is kind of sticking out there. You got his legs, which flop them around, and there's some tabs and slots in there. Put those together, and let's take the other eye. You kind of stick the other eyes over here. Yeah. Do whatever you want. I mean, this Amalgamous was supposed to meant to be constantly transforming. Yeah, that looks like another puppet character. Very labyrinth feel. But, yeah. And then, of course, the head pops off. You can't stop it. And so, you can kind of stick it on other things. Maybe. It's just that peg on that head is just so short that it's hard to get it to tab into anything. Even the short receiver on the torso, it'll be okay while you're moving it, but while you're transforming it, you kind of have to hold it together as it goes in. Otherwise, it's just going to be loose. So, yeah. Play around with it, attach different things, different places. And you can have weird alt modes. Yeah. No wrong answer. It's Amalgamous. It's supposed to be ever-changing. Yeah, and, the limits are your imagination. And all the articulation that he had in his robot mode is just wherever you put him on here, he'll have that articulation. So, yeah. Not too much else to say. So, let's go to our final thoughts. And here, Amalgamous with the rest of his Prime brethren. Of course, he is going to be the new IDW G1 continuity Amalgamous Prime, because he's the only official. My previous winner was just something I slapped together out of my parts pile. So, the official is the winner as our official Amalgamous. I think from here, we're just going to wrap it up. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining us today on the AB Scale Project. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, and I'll see y'all later.